Welcome to Black History Month. This is your show AfreeQa and your host Qetselaworq Seifu. Today we have a guest for Black History Month and I would like him to introduce himself for you. Welcome.
Thank you. I am Nahom Baye. I was born and raised here and I have lived here like my entire life, and I kind of like used to be a student at some point. All of us are, all of us were. So I kind of lived, I got the chance to travel to Mekelle at some point, and that's where this all started with a couple of friends. And that's pretty much like, that's the brief history about me, I guess. That's how I would introduce myself.
Great. So we have discovered that you have a nice startup. And the first thing that caught my attention was the name.
Really?
Yes, Paperinga. Because it has a little bit of English and it has a little bit of Amarinya.
Yes. How we would say like Guramaile.
Okay. So how did you guys come up with the name?
The name, it's kind of a long story. Like we were trying to like find a name that's like culturally appropriate, like so people could understand, so people can relate to it. But we were thinking of Hohe at first, and then we thought of Tlet, and everything seemed like I don't know, like it didn't seem like it didn't feel like the right fit. But then again, like my partner came up with the idea to mash up words and make it something that's a combined of two. Like it doesn't have to be a singular word. So at first we were going to go with Paperinga, like as in like paper, Ika, and then we started like, we worked on it, we grinded, and then we came to the name Paperinga, and from then like that just stayed in with our hearts, and here we are, the Paperinga collective.
So how many of you are in this business, collective, sorry?
Currently there's 3 of us, but seeing as to how it's a startup, we plan to grow, we plan to like widen our scope and include many other young people, like anyone who didn't get the opportunity. So currently we are 3, but we do plan to grow.
So what's your job description for the 3 of you?
Seeing as to how I'm human, I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to start with myself. My role in Paperinga is I'm more of a content creator. I would like to think I'm good with words. I used to love my Amharic classes back when I was in school, and that was like a huge step for me. Like I remember a teacher that used to make us read every time, and we would go out into like in front of the class and we would read, and that was like something that exhilarated me. Like I was excited to do it. So I would say I'm the content creator. I like write stuff, like for example the contents of the stickers. Like there is a sticker over there that says Mechalni Meselo Shaylem. This has a relation to the Amharic. Again, like I remember in a book, like in the 1st grade, I think, there's a dog named Mechal. So, and Mechal is a very popular dog. Like almost everybody had a dog named Mechal. So Mechal Nimesalo Shaylem came like from that, I guess. Like meaning of the Amharic Mechal is like being able to persevere, I guess. So Mechal Nimesalo Shaylem, it's a double entendre, I guess. And I am the content creator. So my other colleague is Barkana Haklila Mariam. He's the one who does the graphics, the illustrations. He's the one responsible for those. He helps with the content too. Like he gives me feedback. Like I give him something, and then if it doesn't work or if it needs improvement, he gives me the feedback, and I try to correct what I have done correspondingly. And there is Nathanael Ferreo. Nathanael Ferreo is the photographer behind all of this, like the photographer that took all the pictures that we have. He is like, personally, I might be biased in my opinion, but I love his work. He is a great camera person. Like the pictures he takes are candid. He never like takes the pictures on purpose. He's never programmed. He doesn't say, I want to take this, I want to take this. He just, the spur of the moment, he just takes the picture. The pictures speak, I don't know, like thousands of words, and I just love them.
Okay, so you guys all met at school, right? At the university?
Yes, the 2 of us met at school.
The 2 of you?
Yes,
okay.
Me and Barkana met at school. We used to learn at Mekelle University Arid Gibi, like the science Gibi of it.
So what was your major?
I'm
just curious, sorry.
I was a mechanical engineer student.
Okay.
I know it's a stretch from that to here.
I'm just curious. I wanted to see if you were in that same line of...
Not really. Like
okay.
I wanted to be a pilot at some point, and like mechanical engineering seemed like the perfect fit for me at the time. I was a mechanical engineering student, Barkane was and still is an architect student. So that's why he has the skills. Like they go together with this, I guess. So, and like Nathanael is Barkane's friend. Like I met him through Barkane, and we met here like once after the corona, like the pandemic hit, and we've gotten close. I'd like to say we've gotten close, but I met him first. I knew Barkane first, and then we got to meet Nathanael.
Now, going into all your stickers and everything that you have, before we go into each one and you tell us about it, I want to find out how Pan-African do you want your work to be?
Well, idea behind Paperinga is about promoting culture. Like, if we had to describe ourselves, I would say we're a bunch of young, creative, concerned minds who do not like the way things are headed right now. Like we all see what's going on in our country, and that's mainly because people need to know, like people lack the knowledge and the culture. Like our culture is eroded, and we do not have the values that we used to have then. So that's why we have Paperinga. That's why Paperinga is about culture. So when we say culture, culture is not just our thing. Culture is like, it's people's idea of like how to get along, what things are right, what things are wrong, like the norms and the values people set. They're like something a specific group of people have agreed upon. So like reaching into Pan-Africanism is not that much of a stretch when you see it from this perspective, because Pan-Africans are like Africans too, right? Like we are all Africans, Ethiopians are Africans. So Pan-Africanism, like if we can talk about culture of Ethiopia, if we can talk about cultures of our generations that have passed us, like it's pretty much easy to go into Pan-Africanism. Like, because if we are speaking about culture, if we want to educate the world, people who are not as educated as we would like them to be, like it's pretty easy to go into Pan-Africanism, because that's just the way. Pan-Africanism is the way. That's the only way forward. And I'd like that to be like, we kind of had stickers that we had prepared for Pan-Africanism. Like we currently we haven't brought them today, but that's because a print failure, like the print didn't come through. But we had a Pan-African idea, like to bring like the African forces are like big. Africa is a big continent. We can do very much. We have a lot of resources. But I don't know how it is. Like there is an expression in Amharic, like Qetselaworq Seifu. Like I think that's what's wrong with this. We do not know what we have in our hands. We do not know what we could do with what we have. So like teaching Pan-Africanism so we can unite, so we can go further together, that's pretty much it.
So how do you intend on, like, because especially if you are going forward, you're going to have Pan-African leaders and other African leaders on here. How do you intend to market it to the rest of Africa?
Currently, like seeing as to how we are a startup, like we plan to take one step at a time and see where we will cross the bridge when we get there. I guess that's the expression. But like we have big plans for Paperinga. We just don't want it to be a local thing where like it starts out small and stays small. That's not what we want for it. We want it to be a big empire. We want it to grow. We want to leave our own mark in our generation. Like, for example, if you say Highland, for example, Highland it's the brand of bottled water, like the first bottled water we had in this country. So everyone refers to it like Highland. Like when they want to ask for a bottled water, they say Highland, because that's the impression that's left on them.
Exactly.
So we want to make that impression. We want to like stay in the minds. Like we want to represent our generation and speak for our generations, and we want it to grow. We want it to be big. So I believe we will cross the bridge when we get there. But we have big plans, and we will market it to a wider African media.
So, Paperinga, what kind of products does Paperinga have? What exactly do you provide outside? I mean, we can see the stickers and the cards, but I think we need a nice little description on each item that's laid out on the table.
Okay. Paperinga, like it's in the name, it does say paper. So we provide print materials that range from the tiniest of stickers to the big framed pictures. So we have everything in between. Like we would like to say, we would like to think we have everything in between, and we think we can grow. So we would have more things in the future too. But as for now, we have the history cards. The history cards are about teaching Ethiopian history, like teaching Addis Abeban history. Like they have an illustration on the front, a picture on the front, and a short description on the back. These are the history cards. Like we have prepared them in like decades, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s. That's what we have in the history cards, and like they give brief descriptions about prominent people of the decade, prominent events that took place in that decade, and we are like trying our best to educate. Like we're not only educating people, but we are getting educated ourselves. Like for example, like I had no idea about like the airport, the international airport we have now. Like it was around Mobile previously, like old airport. The reason why they had to move it here is because they didn't have like if it had to be an international airport, it has to have a huge runway. So that's why they moved it here. And I mean, knowing that, like getting to know that, like I live around there. I live around Old Airport, and I was like curious, well, why? I've never asked, but like Old Airport, I hear people say Old Airport, and now this is the airport, and like I never.
Now
knew
you know the connection between Old Airport.
Yes, like so it's a way to educate others and to educate ourselves in the process too. So the history cards are about connecting to our history, connecting to our past, so we can move forward.
Okay, so it's the history cards are strictly these particular ones are of Ethiopian history.
Yes, mainly Addis Ababa.
Addis Ababa. Okay.
We plan to do bigger things, but like with the resources we have right now, we mainly did Addis Ababan history. So
just imagine you can do all the rest of the African,
exactly.
The whole of continent you could actually do with this.
That's amazing, because that's what I thought. Like when you told me about this, the Pan-African idea, like we could have Pan-African history cards. We could have history cards of Africa, because like it's very easy. Like you can use them as flashcards if you want. Like you could use it as a game, and it's quite an easy medium to understand. So making those would be like, that's like the next step. Like things grow. So yeah, like things grow. So I think we shall and we will grow into African history card. The other products we have are the deck of cards. Like this is like any normal playing deck. Like it has the kings, it has the queens, it has the numbers. We kind of try to give it like an Ethiopian vibe to it. Like we used the Amharic numbers, the Ge'ez numbers. We tried to make the queen look more Habesha, the king more Habesha, the jack more Habesha. So the illustrations are more cultural than the ones we are used to, and we have A as Ha. Like that's because Ha is our first letter, like, right? So we plan to expand. We plan to do more things with the deck of cards too. Like not many people know the numbers, the Amharic numbers. Like I know a lot of people that do not know the numbers, and like that's that's not something to be proud of for me. Like if I had to say, if I had to voice my opinion, I would say that's not something to be proud of. But having this, like it teaches you. Because it's immediate. Like you get to play the cards. You see, you can count the amount of, like for example, over there is 4 of diamonds. So there are 4 diamonds. So like it's practical. You can learn it, and you can still have fun. So we plan to, like educate people on the numbers too.
Brilliant, that's beautiful. I like that idea. Okay.
That would be our postcard. That is a postcard we made for Christmas, because seeing as to how it was
has
Christmas.
the to and from.
Yes. The thing with Paperinga is we try to make simple kind of objects, like things that are simple to use. Like the illustrations, like the thing, like people are used like a lot of details crammed into one specific object, and the idea behind Paperinga is like bringing it to a simple medium, like just simple illustrations. For example, that postcard has the Bethlehem star. So it has the stars. It means we just give our hopes, like we share our hopes that we wish good things for ourselves with a simple illustration and a simple like message to it, not something too complicated, not too many details, just simplicity.
Beautiful.
We also have, the origami instructions. The origami instructions are things we have prepared with the intention of kids. We have the intended clients were kids, like not clients, but I say like the market was intended for kids, but it's something that we can learn from too. Like for example, I make the greatest paper boat. Every time I get a receipt, I make a paper boat. I mean, that's something I recently got into. I mean, I did know how to make the paper boat but I wasn't like, I didn't really realize it until like when we had origami instructions. Like when we printed this out, I was like, whoa, I can learn things too, like things I used to know, things that I forgot. I could learn now. So it's about a page a day instructions for kids to boost their creativity. So like if they can fold papers, like then make new structures, they can do anything. Like that's like, it's about learning that you can do anything. Exactly. If kids are very imaginative, so like they can follow the set of instructions over here, but like the next time they could create their own things. Because I remember like we had a bazaar like a couple of weeks back at Century Mall, and a kid did one of the origamis from that, like a blade, like it's like a ninja blade from paper, and then he went with his family, like they had a good time, I think. I hope they had a good time. But they went around the mall, they did what they came to do. And then when he was about to leave, he came and showed us like something he did different. Like he told us that you can make something different out of the origami that we had showed him how to make. We had showed him how to make the ninja star, but he came up with something else, and he showed us that the paper could keep on spinning, like how a top would spin. I was amazed really, because what we had given him a set of instructions, he had done that, he had followed that, and he did come up with he did find the like final product, and then he
took it a step further.
And that's amazing, because children are like, I don't know how to even describe it, but they're sponges. Yes, they have an untapped mind, they have unspoiled minds, they're like Africa in a way. Yes, in a way, like. In a way, they're Africa, because I say they're Africa because like Africa has a lot of resources, and kids are like the things in their heads like too much. They have a lot of things.
Yeah, and helping bring it out is always the key.
Yes,
the right
because
way.
That's what we strive to, isn't it? Like, because we all want to leave our mark for our generations, for the future generations to come, right? When you say, for example, Haile Selassie over here. He is the reason there is like the African Union now, right? But he wasn't thinking about just himself. He was thinking about the future Ethiopia, what the future Africa would look like. Right. So he did that, but he wasn't just thinking about himself. He was thinking about the future, and the future is our kids. So if we can work on kids, if we can teach kids our culture, our history, we can achieve many things. We can like have a huge Ethiopia, a huge and an even bigger Africa.
Absolutely. So now that you mentioned Qadamawi Haile Selassie, let's come to this beautiful T-shirt that you also have one on. And they're actually both different styles. I'm assuming you did them differently. So if you could tell us a little bit about them. And I don't want to say why did you choose Haile Selassie, but I actually do want to say why him? Why not, because we have great leaders. So why did you choose Haile Selassie?
The idea of this illustration came when we were preparing to do like Pan-African themed objects, like stickers, T-shirts, and the likes. So we did have more. We did have Kwame Nkrumah. We had Gaddafi too. We had Nelson Mandela too. But like the reason we only printed this is because people are not just like, don't just accept new things. Like you have to teach them, like you can bring new things, People are not very open to like, when I say people, I'm talking about Habeshans, because those are the people that I know right now. But many of them are willing to open up and like explore new things. Mm-hmm. So they know Haile Selassie. So why not start with something they know? So once we show them Haile Selassie, this is like they know the story, but like we can give them little details, and then later on, you liked a Haile Selassie T-shirt, right? Now we have Nelson Mandela. So like we can step into it, like it could be a stepping stone. So from the familiar to the less familiar, yes.
And the design, who designed
this one?
Because it's different, you
really
have
is.
all the, it looks like actually you did it with stickers.
Design was done by Qedus. His name is Qedus Minil Shawa. Like he is a friend of ours. Like we went to the Mekelle together too. So like Barkna and I and Qedus, the guy who designed this, like we used to live in the same dorm. Like we lived there together like for 3 or 4 years. So we were busy doing other stuff, like we were like all over the place because we were preparing for a bazaar. So we asked him to help us with an illustration. So we gave him ideas, like we planned to do Pan-African themed T-shirts, like ornaments too. So why don't you help us with the design? We said that, and then here it
He
is.
came up with this.
He came up with this. It's beautiful. Like the things he has
Really
done,
is.
they're just amazing.
Beautiful. I think we should go into the photography. We have these beautiful photographs around us. I mean, you just go for it.
I agree with you. Like I see what you mean, because I don't even know what to say when I see the pictures too. Most of the time, like I'm left speechless. But the one over here, it's like a lioness. It's taken from Ambasagabi. All the pictures he takes are candid pictures. He never like plans to take them, but he just happens to catch a moment and then he takes the picture of it. So he went to Ambasagabi and caught this. This speaks volumes to me because like it's unjust what's happening to the animals there, like the lions specifically, like because we have the lioness here. I think it's unjust because imagine like the role of a lioness in the, what do you call it? Let's call it a tribe for the sake of Africanism. So let's call it a tribe. So a tribe of lions. So and the role of a lioness in that is like it's huge. Like the lion is the king of the jungle, of course, but his place is not as big as the lioness because the lioness is in charge of hunting and bringing food the whole of their tribe, I guess. So imagine like having that mother, the mother who provides for her child, for her husband, for her whole family being caged. So like I think that speaks volumes to me because that's not her role, that's not her natural place. Her natural place is to be free, to be roaming and to feed her family. But now she's caged and now she's being fed by others. And the amount she's fed, I don't even know what to say about that. It's like, it's too little. Like, I don't even know like how to say it. Because imagine like you have lived free your whole life. You have fed yourself your whole life. So when you feed yourself, when you eat so you can like, to your heart's content, right? To your food. But when you're caged, all that is taken away from you. You do not get to feed your family. Instead, you wait upon others to be fed. And that's just, I think that's cruel. I mean, I'm not saying anything about the zoo. I don't mean to be saying anything about the zoo, but the condition the animals are in. Yeah, like the condition of the animals, like the being caged is a very difficult situation to be in.
That is true. When you actually do look at that picture, you see sadness.
Yes.
She looks very, very sad. Does not look happy in that situation. Okay, and the young lady underneath the lioness?
The young lady underneath, Nathanael travels. Like he used to travel with, there is a travel group that contacts him when they want to travel. So when he gets the chance to travel, he travels with them. And when he travels, he has his camera with him. And this, I think it's in a place called Insaro. I think, I'm not really sure. The place Insaro has become famous now, I think, because of a movie named Insaro. But this is from a place called Insaro, and like she didn't know he was taking the picture. Like she was peeking out to see whether her family has returned or not. Like the adults were outside, and she was like peeking out to see what's happening. And then he just caught the moment.
her.
Like he's lucky. He is gifted, but he is still lucky to have caught this image.
There's one behind me. If you could tell us a little bit about the one behind.
That is a picture taken from Debre Libanos. It's about a shepherd like guiding his sheep. Like the connection between the shepherd and the sheep, it's just amazing. Like if you can see the picture, like they're very loose. They're just doing their own thing. He's not forcing them to do like. The thing I see here in Addis Ababa is like people are just cruel to animals. Like I don't even cruel might even be an understatement, but people are just cruel to animals. Like when you see them like driving the cattle, they just take out their whips and like I don't even it's just too much. But when you see that, you just see that they have a profound connection with the sheep, and the shepherd have a very profound connection. He's just like waiting for them like to graze their food and be done with what they're going to do. So that's about a shepherd being one with his sheep, with his followers follow him, and they know what he wants. He knows what they want. They read each other. They have lived together long enough, so they know each other.
So when you were in the university, let me say, how I know as students you all have discussions. You all talk about either your private life or what's going on in the world. How would you describe, if you even talked about it, how Pan-African are the students around you? Were the students around you?
I don't think it's Pan-Africanism is not something the young minds, like the young people, young adults are very aware of these days, because I myself like wasn't like very like into Pan-Africanism. I had to read up for the bazaar I told you about. So even I wasn't like didn't know much about Pan-Africanism. And the thing about it is like I might not have known about Pan-Africanism, but I know of people that don't even think Ethiopia is part of Africa. Like not in the sense of geography, but like I mean, people are like privileged, I guess. They think like they privilege themselves. Like they say we are not part of Africa. Like I remember a friend of mine, we kind of had a discussion about this, and he said, I am not African, Ethiopia is not African. Then what are you? He said, like, I am Habesha. Then like, you do know, like geographically speaking, Ethiopia is part of Africa. And like, he's like, yes, but I am not African. Africans are the people with sticks that go like bongo bongo. This was his exact expression. Like, I was like, what do you mean, man? Like, you do not get this. That doesn't even make sense. It's about exposure, I guess. Like, what you're exposed to is what you see. What you see growing, like, it molds you, it shapes you. So what he saw, the people he saw around him, like where he is born and raised in Addis Ababa. So like the people he saw were like from Addis Ababa. It's more of a city, like it's not it's not a rural area. So like the people he was exposed to were like those. So he didn't consider himself an African because he wasn't exposed to that kind of environment. And like our parents, our grandparents, and the people before us, like they didn't like. I'm not blaming them, which I kind of am, but I'm not completely like shifting the blame towards them. We are to blame as well, but like we were not educated, we were not exposed to that media, to what Africanism is, to what Pan-Africanism is. So like we were self-centered. Like when we speak of Adwa, like we say Adwa, yes, Ethiopians defeated Italian, like that's a great thing. That is something I am proud of personally, but it's not something that we did. It's something our great grandparents did. Like, I mean, I get that it's a privilege, it really is, but it's just not about privilege too. We have to like, there is a song like by Rofna, do you know Rofna?
Yes, I sure do.
I love his songs. And
so do I.
from what I'm trying to say right now is like, ሁሉም ትውልድ አድዋ አለው የሚል part አለ. Like that part, like that resonates with me.
አድዋ ለሀገር ያደረገው ማንደው አድዋ ለሰው ልጅ አድዋ ለኔ ነው.
Everyone has their own Adwa. Like they won their own Adwa doesn't mean we do not get to live in their glory. Like they won that, I'm thankful for that, but that doesn't mean we have to like stay blind and live in their glory. Like they won didn't mean we won. We have our own like obstacles to overcome.
Right.
So like
your own history to write.
Yes, we have our own history. Like when people speak of us like in the future, they need to say they had their own Adwa. Like they can say the generation of the COVID people, the COVID generation had their own Adwa too. Like they can say that. So I believe like I don't think the young people are exposed to Pan-Africanism or Africanism in general, but I think we should work on that too.
So we need to either educate in schools, because technically, even if we know our own history, that in itself, to me, is Pan-Africanism, because we fought so much to get to where we are, that I would consider that. So basically, by not educating our youth, whether it's in schools, high school, or in college, we are actually doing a disservice to them. Is basically what you're telling me, right?
Yeah. It all comes down to like what you are exposed to. Like, for example, like someone raised in the rural area and someone and me, for instance, like we do not have the same outlook in life, because I had like I looked at things in a specific kind of way, like growing up, and he had to he had to like guard his sheep from being like eaten. He had to be a shepherd. So the things we are exposed to are different. So those exposures like make us different people. But like what people don't understand is like different people means like you get to learn different things from people. That's like a great thing. Like everyone is a storybook. Like you have your own story. I have my own story. So that boy from that rural area has his own story that I can learn from. I have my own story that he can learn from. So it's about education, really. Like if we can work on the minds of people, like we have everything. There is one product that I didn't get
cover?
to talk about.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
We have the reflection cards.
Okay.
The reflection cards, like the Paperinga collective, like I said, is about introducing culture and the generation. So it's about being the bridges between generation and culture. So the Paperinga reflection cards are questions Like they're like thought-provocative kind of questions. Like there are deep questions and there are fun questions too. So like it all boils down to being able to converse with people, right? So the Paperinga reflection cards are like conversation guides. So like if you can use like the idea behind the Paperinga reflection cards is like conversations tend to get dry with people at some point, like dry in the sense that like you don't know where to go from there, like the conversation just ends. So the Paperinga reflection cards are there to help you, like for instance. Okay, can I ask you a question from the card?
Sure.
Okay. What is a memory that will forever make you laugh out loud?
What is a memory that would always make you laugh out loud? Is that a personal question?
It could be.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It has to be.
It is,
That's
it
what
is.
I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, is this a tricky question? My kids?
That's nice. That's like another one?
I can't think of another one.
Well, kids should be enough.
You know, because they have all these, especially when they open their mouth, when they first start speaking, when they're trying to form words.
Yeah.
You know, the different way of saying certain words actually always cracks you up.
That's amazing because my mother's name is Surgut, and we call her Kukuye. Do you know how that came to be? It's a funny story. Like my older sister, like she tried to say Surgut, and I don't even know how, but she just said Kukuye instead of Surgut. And like it's amazing, really, like what kids do. So that name stuck, and we still call her Kukuye. So I get what you mean.
So
Another
that's
question?
lovely.
One more.
Yeah.
When you think about adventures in your childhood, what memory comes to mind?
Adventures. Well, me and my older sister used to jump out of window, meaning the window's this short, and there's like a garden around underneath it. So we would jump from the window over the garden.
Okay.
So it was a big thing for us. So as we were jumping, and there's a door right next to it, so we'd just go around in circles. So she'll jump, I'll come back, I'll jump, I'll come. And then what happened was, she was in such a hurry that she pushed me. So I fell. So when I fell onto one of the...
Spikes?
Yes. And at that instant, my aunt came in with her daughter who was going to play with us. So I ended up in the hospital. I had to go and have my little forehead sewed.
Oh, that's scary.
No, but it was fun.
It was fun. I get it.
You know what I mean?
I like the idea of heights. I'm a height person.
Yeah, but it's not that high. It was literally this high.
Yes,
it wasn't high at all.
Actually, when I was in the university, I remember a time when I jumped from the first floor.
Why?
A friend of mine had locked me in my dorm.
Okay.
He went about his business, and I think
Completely
he forgot
about
me. Yes,
you.
and like I didn't have my phone on me. I couldn't call people, and I think I was hungry. That's why I jumped.
You jumped.
So like
And you survived, obviously.
I did survive.
Did you sprain your ankle?
Not really. I like heights, so like I'd like to think I practiced it because like when I was in elementary school, I used to like jump from a first floor-ish kind of height too. So I was trained to it. The life built me up to that, I guess.
Beautiful. So now that we have come to the end of our show, we have the African leaders in our city currently. So if you want to send them a message, we want to say welcome. And then going forward, the whole month of February will be celebrating Black History Month. So any words on that also, that would be great.
All I would have to say is live and die in Africa. So it's the motherland. So live and die in Africa.
Perfect. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, and Paperinga, we say go forward.
Thank you.
Next time I see you, I would like to have the whole of table with all these amazing African leaders that we have in the world.
Definitely. And for anybody who would like to contact us, we do have an Instagram page and a Telegram channel too. So feel free, like we do custom works too, like custom t-shirts. Like it doesn't have to be Haile Selassie or it doesn't have to be Mandela. It could be anyone you want. It could be anyone you value. So we do custom works too. So for anybody interested, you can contact us on our social media, like with Instagram or with Telegram.
Beautiful. Africa says greetings and have a happy Black History Month.